Evening all. This is a video that sort of introduces something we've been thinking about for a while, which is doing it's not even a game room, it's more of a game flat tour, because it's kind of crept throughout the entire flat really, hasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it started off that we were going to have a games room, but then the flat did slowly turn into a gaming flat.
Yeah, it was, especially up in the corridor.
Which is good, I've got no regrets.
Yeah, it was like, where this is the games room, and then it was, oh, we can put a few up there. And in the living room, well, we can have a couple of bits and pieces. In the bedroom, well, this can be used for storage. And in the kitchen sink, it's like, oh, well, the Saturn can go in there. So
not really.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Convert the Saturn into a dishwasher.
Come on, turn this off. Off we go. So no, my point. Don't be silly. That's not very rock and roll. So our point is that I think my issue with the games room tours is like, you have one, and then of course a year down the line or 6 months down the line, you kind of think, oh, I've shifted around. Let's do another one. But the reason we haven't done it at all, we've done a few games room sort of quick ones, like 15-20 minutes for other channels when they've asked, is that I'd love it to be definitive. Like, this is our collection, not just like quick scan of the shelves and then, you know.
Yeah, maybe have it so that we slowly start going through a collection.
Yes. Showing
little pieces in different videos, not too many videos, but like you say.
Yeah, not like one 9-hour block, because that would be it would just be tedious for everyone.
But do like 15-20 minute sessions of showing like maybe our Nintendo collection and just different parts of the flat.
And I think what's interesting for me about different collections is, most of us have the same games. Anyone who kind of collects any kind of game, usually you boil down to having the same things. But what I like is how people came across them.
Absolutely love watching games room tours.
Yeah, I love it because it's that what you're watching is that person's excitement and experiences from like picking up.
And the reason why they picked it up or where they picked it up could have been a charity shop, boot sale, or it was their own copy from when they were a child.
Or they played it with their siblings or with their dad, you know, when they were a kid.
And then everyone's got that little bit of nostalgia connected to a game, haven't they? Or even people who don't collect games, they'll always remember a certain one, whether collect games got interest or not.
You bring anyone, it's happened to us, you bring anyone who likes, you know, some distant uncle you didn't know was into games, you bring him into a games room and he'll point at something and say, oh, is that? And you say, yes, that's Curse of Shuin on the Commodore 64, for God's sake, Uncle Dave.
Do you remember we had a leak in our last apartment? And
yeah, and some cheese, and we had some spring onions as well.
The guy came down from upstairs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't not from downstairs, wasn't it? Yeah, upstairs. So the guy came from downstairs, and
the guy came downstairs from upstairs.
So the guy came downstairs from the apartment above, and obviously there was a leak occurring, but he didn't know where it was coming from.
I'll interject. It wasn't a leak. It was a full-on torrent in our kitchen. It was just torrential. Like, it was this. Anyway, so
it was so annoying because it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and someone from downstairs obviously is dripping into their flat, knocks on the door, a guy in his 60s going,
oh, I think you've got a leak in your bathroom.
But literally went into the bathroom and it was like a monsoon.
It was like
shower.
Opening the door to rain outside. Like, right, someone's left the bath on.
Luckily, no games at all surrounded that room. And it went into the wardrobe a little bit, and I'm going off topic, but nothing was hurt in there, thankfully.
No, it was just
coming through the light, and that was it. But the point was, he came downstairs and he stopped in his tracks, although he was kind of like, oh my god, this has happened.
We need towels, we need to turn the pipes off, we need to turn the water off. Because it turns out it was
the guy above him, wasn't it, or something?
Yes, yeah.
So imagine how much
pressure there is. 4 in the morning, everyone's
tired.
Through
3 or 4 apartments.
Yeah.
But he was going, Space Invaders.
It was scrambled.
Like, to the handheld.
He came in and he was like in his boxes running around saying, oh my god, you need towels, we need to turn all the water off. Is that a scramble? And I thought, good. And then I actually started having a conversation with him, and you said, can we not do this now?
Yeah, I love having a conversation about games. Anyone who's interested, like,
yeah, not right then.
The local guy from Tesco delivers our shop and stops for a chat or whatever. Like, oh, we got games.
Yeah, everyone's got like a little link to games.
But at that moment, it's not the right moment, is it?
We need to stop the leak. So, what this is going to be is essentially a really protracted, over months series of videos just about breaking down a collection, and not so much to show it off, because I think that the key thing about any kind of collecting, whether someone just, you know, has games on Steam, or, you know, they just have a handful of games they love playing, the thing about it is just enjoying it. And I love that. Yeah. And I love, even if someone's got like 100 games and they've got a couple of cool Saturn games, I'd love it.
Or even if they've got 5 games, you know, and they've got, again, if you've got like a nostalgia or something attached to it, or there's like a little story behind it.
That's what's important. That's the fun of it. And I think key to say is we're lucky because when we met, the first game you bought, you bought me Mega Drive, good, and it was Batman Returns. And luckily we kind of evolved together into like, oh, you know, I like games, I remember these, and we'll pick these up, and then we'd show each other new games. But a lot of people don't have that. They have gaming as, you know, their thing, and their spouse or partner doesn't get into it. But we're lucky.
But I already had them before you, and you didn't own one, and I was quite astonished because we used to talk about it quite a lot. And I had them bought for me for Christmas. From Santa.
It was one of those Mega Drives that has some built in. Yeah, I remember that one.
And I had 5 games, sort of like Lion King, Aladdin, Jurassic Park, those kind of ones. Literally got 5 games, and I had those 5 games for a couple of years. You know, I didn't buy any more. Those are the ones I was nostalgic for, and the ones I grew up with, and the ones I had in the past, and that's all it was. But this was when I met you then, and we were chatting about games, and it kind of spiraled. Then, you know, we both. You kind of forget that how much you used to love it, or
and how it was a weird, because we met in 2009, 10, 2008,
5, 2000, the millennium.
We met in 1956. No,
actually, don't know. I don't know. It's too long.
It's got to be 2008-9. So it was at a time.
It wasn't 2008.
What's it then? Bearing in mind, this is our 10th anniversary this year, and it's
How old
2019. I'm 35.
Don't even do it.
We are getting away from the collective.
Okay, yeah.
It's 2009.
It's like
we
10
met.
years, yeah.
Yeah. So when we met, it was
4 years that.
2009.
Okay.
So I'd moved around a lot personally, and every time I'd moved, I kind of downsized. So I got. She's doing the math. So.
Yeah.
2009, yeah, 10 years, 2009. I'd moved around a lot and downsized a lot, so every time I moved I'd sell off a lot of comics, sell off some games, and eventually just got it under the absolute bare minimum, as I assume a lot of people do. Single guy in his 20s, like, you know, why am I going to keep these old Mega Drive games? And I built up a collection and sold off a collection, and then what happened when we started collecting, my point is that when you're with someone who collects, it makes it a lot easier because you don't have to worry about space, because it's not like, your guitar collection takes up 2 rooms. It's like, no, it's our guitar collection. So the gaming thing is just...
So if I sold one of your guitars, you'd be happy with that? Our guitars.
Our guitars. That sounds Greek. But no, my point is that when you're with someone who collects games as well, it's it's just fun. When it spills out and you're kind of struggling for space, it's fun.
Although we didn't want it to spill out.
When we initially moved here, ideally.
Because I just thought like one room dedicated to it is awesome. Don't want to kind of overtake the whole flat, but then it kind of came to this room got a bit too full, and we had to put like shelving in the hallway, and a bit of gaming going on in the living room, which you'll obviously see in the video. But it had to be done. We didn't have a choice. Otherwise, this room would just be like a box room full of storage, basically, and you wouldn't be able to get in or access it. So, and that's who we are, and that's what I enjoy about coming home and like seeing like all the familiar kind of in your surrounding, like the games, and like it feels like homey and nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're associated with good things, I suppose.
And all of our friends enjoy it. You know, they come over and they'll enjoy certain consoles or games, and it's just, like you say, it's just homely. So it's a fun hobby to have because other people can generally get involved. I mean, when we do this series, I think we're going to probably start off with just a totally general run around, little half hour, boom, 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 this is what we've got, this is our collection. But then we're going to get right down to the nitty gritty of like how much we paid for stuff, where we picked it up, who donated it, who gave it to us. Like our parents have been godsends with going on day trips with families and saying, oh, have you got this, have you got this? And you're like, no, give it to me.
Friends like looking out for us and kind of going, oh, thinking of us when games are involved.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of start out like, oh, you're spending that much money on games, really? You know, are you...
Yeah,
what are you doing kind of thing?
One of the things we should bring up was when we first went to America years ago, when we first met, a couple of months after we met, and it was just at the time when like PS3 was kicking off.
Yeah.
So basically we went into a store in Florida and there were so many people just Mega Drive games, like 50 cents, $1. And we couldn't bring them back. And when we were going to buy them all, we kind of said to each other, are we just doing this because we're here and they're cheap, or do we want them? Well, now I know I wanted them, but
we should have picked them up.
We should have. It's a burning
We did pick quite a few
sensation,
up, but the amount we wanted to pick up was like,
Oh.
I'll stuff my stuff into your suitcase, and then
We'll pay for an extra suitcase,
Yeah.
and then we'll just chuck everything in there.
But we didn't do anyway.
That's
that
probably
did
burned me the most, because they were like, how much is that? And it's like, oh, how much is Streets of Rage 3? Oh, $2. And you think,
We came back with like literally about 2 or 3 things in there, I think, and
yeah, more of a memento than as a.
yeah.
But we've learned
Which is
since,
awesome.
let me tell you. So, but to sum up, so this series is going to be about a games room collection over a period of months. We're going to like do a quick sort of, like I
Yeah.
said, general one, and then we're going to really break it down and go through different.
Parts of the collection, basically.
Yeah, different parts of the collection. Might not be the same system, but something might remind us of something else. So we're
Yeah.
gonna keep it going over a few months. So
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited because, working
don't
so
like
much
it.
as well. Working so much as well, both of us, and it's like you look forward to the weekends and you want to spend time in the, we come to the games room then, and you're like, oh, and you perhaps play a game we don't necessarily look around, but although I do make it happen in the mornings before work, coming in and having a little browse, and then going off to work because it makes me happy, okay?
it is true. You come in here with a cup of coffee and you just have a little podder.
Yeah.
I think, oh yeah, I haven't played that for a little while. I have to give that a crack. But that's the thing. That's the genius about game collecting, is that it's not like if they were. Well, there's nothing wrong with any kind of collecting. If they were, for instance, toy cars, you could appreciate them and you can research them.
Yeah.
But with games, you can go that extra step. Like if you collected movies, you can then interact with them. And what's even better about games and movies is that it's a social thing. So
Yeah.
you can. It didn't used to be. Obviously, when I was a boy, you get bullied for liking games.
50 years ago.
15 years ago! Yeah, so.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So, this is the introduction. May have gone off topic.
Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, and the next one will be a flat game room
one.
tour. A better one! So, we're going to call it, edit this out, the flat, like a home.
Flat of dreams.
A home game room tour?
Yeah.
Home room tour. Home gaming tour.
A home games room tour.
No, it's not a room, is it?
So this is MTV Cribs, and
Okay. So, if you think about what this series is going to be over the next few months, it's going to be sort of a home gaming tour as opposed to a room tour, because it's everywhere.
yeah, just little parts of our home basically that are dedicated to gaming, which there's a reference in most rooms, isn't there? Actually, every room is a reference to gaming.
Even in the guest bathroom, there's something that face popped up there, and I thought, did you put that there because it kind of suits the colours, or did you put it there because it's a gaming reference? I'll let you decide that when you see it, actually. So yeah, enjoy, and see you in the next video.
Bye.